I sent out so many emails, and some of you read it. I got some email back right away, so those of you who did reply, got that one extra again. Some students don't read the email, and there was some that I actually sent personal email. If I have your email address handy, like if you have sent me something in the past, so. Anyway, and when I look at the results, more or less everybody the same. It's not like there's a surprise or anything. It's pretty consistent with what you have been doing. Although you can improve definitely, yes. The tutor will be here today. I know I have said it so many times. He's normally there Wednesday and Friday. Jackie, you need to see me up in the class. Yeah, I just remember it. So please, if you want to look at the test to see what you have missed, especially if you score below 5, it's a good strategy. We got one last set of tests, only one chapter, so you should be able to do well next, I believe it's Wednesday, yeah. And then Friday will be the day for presentation. Do not miss the presentation day. Okay, let's see, Adam's not here. Shamika, Jackie, you'll be presenting Tyra and Miss Syria. So do not miss the presentation day because a lot of you are asking me waste of time for extra credit. The semester is about to be over. Like my last day that I lecture will be on Monday, and then you do presentation. On Wednesday, we have the test, the last chapter test, and then I'll do a little bit more in-depth tips and hints about how to present and about your paper. How many of you have started writing your paper already? Okay, very good. You are in good hand. If you have started, that's good. Even though you're not presenting right away, you should. And be sure to get a proofread for your last final version. And I cannot emphasize enough, you need to check your email. Now, some of you do not respond to school email. If you see something about your course, you just automatically dispel it. Sometimes there's something important I want to say to you, like hints and tips, Okay, let's see. Did you get email from me, Mr. Matthews?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Well, I got it.
Okay, good. Yeah. I bet. Well, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you read it, that's good. Yeah, if you don't read it, you say, oh yeah, it's from Dr. Gunn. Oops, erase. Sometimes there's something important there. Okay, let's see. We're doing the last chapter, which is chapter 14 on your book. I think your book, the last chapter is chapter 10. We're not doing it in order. I think I asked the publisher to put it in the order in which I will present it. So I don't know. We're doing that chapter on which one? This is our last chapter, public good and tax policy. And a couple of you need to take the test today, so I'll talk to you after the class, okay? How many of you did the instructor who would say that they announce about the economic club meeting?
He didn't say nothing about
You
it.
get that email? Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. That's okay. That was the same day though. It's over. Okay. So today we're going to study the last concept that we will deal with. Something about tax. We'll get into tax a little bit more. And what exactly is public good and what exactly is private good? So this is also a topic of large interest among students. So we're going to look at what private good versus what is public good. Based on what we talked about, externality, all that stuff. And then how do we tax? Now, what is a private good? So basically, you have two definitions. One is excludability. This is the first one. The other one is called rivalry. If you're sitting at McDonald's munching your cheeseburger, that is a private good because someone come up to you and try to get it from you or steal from you, you would say, no, don't touch it. That's my food I'm eating right now. Don't you dare to touch it. That's a private food because you have to pay for it. A homeless person, for example, will not have money, let's say, to pay for it. So this excludability is because of something to do with payment, okay? Okay, now rivalry is what I just talked about earlier, okay? If someone grab it from you and then you don't have a cheeseburger, you have to go up there and buy another one. Usually it's not a rivalry because early in the morning, McDonald's just gets started at 6:30 and then they cook all the burgers. But let's just say that you walk in about 10 p.m. I don't know what time they close. Let's just say 10 p.m. How about if you walk in at 9:50 p.m. at McDonald's and you're lining up, you're like the third person, and then when you got to the first and second person, the person in front of you, they just sold their last cheeseburger. When it got to you, you say, no, we don't have any more. And you gotta have that cheeseburger, and so that's it. It's a rivalry. Understand what I'm saying? So there is this rivalry feature there. So let's look at what the definition is. A good or service that non-payers, people who don't have money, can easily be excluded, like the homeless person. Or if you don't have money, that's it, unless someone buy you a meal. And for which each unit consumed by one person means one less unit available for others. So that's what it is. That's called excludability. And rivalry, well, the excludability explains the payment part, okay? You got money, then you could buy it. You're included. But if you don't have money, you're excluded. So the other part, rivalry, is talking about the quantity. How many that are still, the availability, excuse me. Now, opposite of that is public good. Public good is typically free. You hear about public school, public health care, things like that. Public prison, it's free to get in, but who wants to get in, right? Unless you commit a crime and all that. So a good or service that, at least to some extent, is both non-rival and non-excludable. So it's the opposite. Non-excludable because you cannot exclude people who do not pay for the service from using it. Let's just say, example given a national defense TV program. Okay, well, September 11th. So everybody knew what happened, ground zero. So the firefighters, volunteers were there to help out. They're pulling out the bodies from the debris, and they need help. It took them days because they have to dig. They have to, there was a lot of help needed at that time because there was a disaster. So now the policemen who were around, like manning the traffic, maintain peace and order. So basically, they don't go around and ask people like, oh, excuse me, you are a tourist from Jamaica, so therefore you don't get the service. Now, even though you do not pay tax, you're like a tourist, you're not a citizen of the United States, you do not pay tax to this country, you're still being protected. So it's not easy to exclude you from having the service. So they're not going to separate you. Yeah, shoot, this is a line, you're a tourist, you don't pay your tax, so you don't get protected. No, you can't do that. National defense is the same thing. If you're in a country, you're in a country. So in that sense, it is non-excludable. What about a non-rival? Non-rival is more like, it is available to everybody. So one person using it would not diminish its availability to another person. So how many of you have been to Times Square, New York City? Okay, you've been there, and some of you have. So they have this program that they, I guess one of the building, or I forgot what it is, which building where they have Coca-Cola, maybe that was the one. But so they air some programs sometime, and I think in London, same thing. Piccadilly, that's where they have this things like that. When you get off of the subway station, it's a major one. You see the program up there. So hey, is it free? Yes, absolutely. They're not gonna say, you know, you pay for it. Yeah, all you have to do is look up, it's right there. So it's free. Okay, so in that sense, it's non-excludable. What about the non-availability? Yes, everybody could watch it. You're not gonna blindfold everybody and say, this is a private good. I get to watch it, you don't get to watch it. Let me blindfold everybody. No, you can't do that. So for that reason, we say any program that's in a public area is considered non-rival. Yes, everybody could watch it. It's also non-excludable because you can't really exclude people from watching. People who don't pay for it still get to watch. So that is the definition of public good. So we keep going back to that 1 and 2 features to test. Ask ourselves, is this a private good, is this a public good? So a pure public good is a good or service that to a high degree is both non-rival and non-excludable. Now if you think about what is that line? 911. How many of you have used 911? Okay, very good. So now, you would say that's a public good, yes, because, you know, I mean, anybody could call, it's free, and to some extent, if you push it to the limit, it could become rival. Because, you know, how some people just cut their fingers a little bit, they call 911, what did I do? What did I do? Now, you could be holding up a conversation with the other party that's, you know, could have been dealt with a life-threatening situation. But, you know, you're calling up to chalk up the line just for little things that, come on, you can look up medical aid, how to do, what to do, you know. Or call your aunt, call your buddy, they tell you what to do. And you don't have to call up 911 for that. So once again, going back to that definition, so your test next week, you need to know this very well, okay, the definition. What is non-rival, a good whose consumption by one person does not diminish or reduce its availability for others, non-rival. So that's talking about the public good there. Non-excludable is a good that's difficult or costly. See, it's got something to do with dollar value, money payment, to exclude those who do not pay for the good from consuming it. Non-excludable, so can't. So these two are the key features or definition of what constitute a pure public good. This, by the way, is in your book, okay? You won't have to copy it. All you have to do is just make sure we refer to it. Page, my page is 386, 388. Yours might be the 1 page off. So just look at the side definitions there. Everything is there. Okay, now we come to a very important question now. So what? Public good, private good. So, and we say that, hey, if it is a public good, it should be provided by the government. Because if it is a public good, right, for-profit private firms, people who make maximize a profit, okay, will find it difficult to recover their cost of production. Let's just say if you build a bridge, and a lot of time, a lot of these highway and bridges are like private good, you know, because they want to make money, they want to collect the tolls, right? Until they have collected enough, and then maybe they make it free. But they don't have incentive because private for-profit organization, their main thing is to make profit, really, right? So, but if it is a public good, we say that it's a very important feature in economics that's applied here. That is, the marginal cost of serving additional users is actually zero once a good has been produced. So it's just like your cell phone company, you know, many of you have cell phone service. How many of you have unlimited service? Only one? So if you pay by usage, it's expensive. Right? I mean, if you go over, but if you do unlimited, what's the reason that cell phone company has this unlimited service? That's because after you serve, thousands or millions of customers, basically beyond which a marginal cost is zero. It's like producing a CD. The first one that it comes out with is very, well, you know, there's cost involved. You have to make production. But once you make about 2,000, maybe, I don't know when's the break even, or even like 20,000 beyond which your marginal cost is essentially zero. So because of this feature that marginal cost is zero, we say that if you were to charge for the good, it would be considered inefficient. So remember we talked about all that monopoly, perfect competition, the price according to MC. If your monopoly price it above MC, but if the marginal cost is zero, we should not charge at all. And who has incentive to do that? The government, the public agents, not so much of the private for-profit organization. I'll introduce two more terms here, which is kind of like a hybrid between public good and private good. So you need to know this term because we ask this on your test. Okay, so I've said it. That's a hint. Okay, so what is considered collective good? So collective good and pure common good, they are hybrid of public and private good. So what do we mean by it? So hybrid means kind of like a mix in between. So remember earlier we had these two features. So once again, write it down, excludability. And the second one is what we call, what is that? Rivalry, yeah. So, now, collective good and pure common good, what we call hybrid good, has a feature of each one of them. One public good feature, one private good feature. So look at, for example, what is a collective good? A good or service to, at least to some degree, is non-rival but excludable. Okay, so for example, pay-per-view TV. How many of you have been to a hotel room, you want to watch something, and then you just put your credit card number in, then you get to watch James Bond? How many of you have done that? Never? Oh boy. I think my last class that I went to, most students raised their hand. So different types of students, groups of students maybe. So anyway, pay-per-view is something that you have to, like if you're in a hotel room or even at home, you have to pay, because video on demand now, very popular, like you have to pay to watch. So let's just say you pay, okay, you pay for James Bond, the latest one, I don't know what it is. So if you pay for it, let's say it's $5, okay? So then what you do is you say, okay, since you have to pay for it, so it's excludable, right? That's a private good. But once you have paid for it, right, it's on now, you can invite the whole class. Say, well, I paid for it. Come on, Zach. Come on, Petrus. Come on, Jackie, come to my house, we can all watch it together. I paid for it. I'm not going to charge you. Well, very nice. Okay, so non-rival. Once that's been paid for, until your room is crowded. If we pack in 200 people in your living room, then of course, yeah, it's a problem. But this size class, I think it's okay. So in that case, you say, oh yeah, it's got a public good feature in it. So because of that, like excludable is private good feature, non-rival is public good feature. So it's kind of like in between, we call it collective good. And you have to know which is which. Next is pure common good. Example for that is fish in the ocean. Have you noticed that if someone go out there and fish all day, and they caught like 100 fish in the morning, and then by afternoon you go by there, do you think you get any? Probably not, it's been harvested. So in that case we say, yes, it is rival. You took all my fish. Now I don't have as much. I have to wait, don't know how long before the fish come back. So rival, yes. So that's kind of like a private good feature, but non-excludable. What about that part about non-excludable? Non-excludable because it's in the ocean. Now, I know a lot of places, if you want to fish, you have to get a license. But out in the ocean, remember I talked about how the territory is not very clear, the property line. So then you could get away, even though if you don't have license, even though you're not supposed to fish, you could always get out to the ocean and do whatever you want. Remember pirates, we were talking about it? So because of that, it's non-excludable. Even though you don't have a license, you could still get out there and, well, not legally, but, you know, I mean, if you get caught, then you're in trouble. But so basically what this is saying is fish in the ocean, and notice that the condition is in the ocean. Not so much like fish in the lake, fish in the pond, you know, which you could catch people if you don't have, or in the lake, on the lake, you know, if you don't have fishing license. So that's it. So again, rival is the private good feature, non-excludable is public good feature. So that's an example for what is known as pure common good. So in other words, you need to know four terms, okay, the public and private, and then the in-between, collective and common. And you have to know which is which. You can't have this feature mix up and then it's different, you know. So a collective good means excludable and non-rival, and pure common good means rival but non-excludable. So here it is, same thing. This is not game theory, this is just using the 2x2 matrix to present the result very quickly. So on the two extreme, you have public good, private good, and then you have the in-between there. I'm not gonna go into detail there, that should be on your table 14.1. I think that's straightforward. So again, you know, the public or the government will provide the public good. What are examples of public good today? You
Water.
got,
Water.
I'm sorry?
Water.
Water?
Yeah.
What water? What? Wait. Oh, you're talking about something that you get from the county, like the water, is that right? It's not free though, you have to pay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So public education, how many of you been to free public education? Well, see, you know what I'm talking about. How about public hospital? Why do they call it public? Because it is sponsored by subsidized by the government, paid by the government, with the taxpayers' money. What about library?
Mm-hmm.
In almost any county you have public library. What about park?
What about what?
Public park, a park, where you could go jogging.
Park.
Park, yes, you go jogging, right, you go fishing. And so, you know, some of you may value it very differently. Like if you want to go on a date, you know, you say, well, yeah, that's a nice park to go for a walk. You will value it more. People who say, oh, I hate outdoor, you know, I like to stay indoors, study all the time, and you won't value it as much. So you see, everybody has a different price to pay for the public good. So this is where we are getting at next. Okay, so the government would provide it if the benefit is greater than the cost. This is nothing new, cost-benefit principle. So the cost of the public good is the sum of the explicit and implicit costs incurred to produce it. So how do you produce a public good? Like if you want to build a bridge from the mainland to the island out there. Okay, so if it is a public good, you have to start collecting money. And we say that it's both explicit and implicit. Tell me what are some of the explicit costs of building a bridge? Come on. What are some of the explicit costs? Example. Will they just happen the next day? Automatically, miracle happen, whoops, right there. No. What does it take to build a bridge? What do you need?
Materials.
I'm sorry, materials, yes. Concrete, what else?
A lot of workers.
Yeah, oh, yes. Hopefully machine too, right? So they won't have to, you know, it could raise the big concrete, right? The crane, big crane. And someone to operate the machine, yes. Very good. So these are the explicit costs. What about the implicit costs of building a bridge? What is it? What are we talking about? Well, you should know that. This is going back to chapter 1. Anybody? What is the implicit cost of building a bridge? What is the word implicit cost? What's another term for it? Ruben, do you remember? What's another term for implicit cost? Start with O. Yeah. Go ahead, Shamika. At the tip of your tongue, just spit it out.
I was about to say
Yeah, that's right, you got it, opportunity cost, is that what you should say? Right, the opportunity cost, yes. So what's the opportunity cost of building the bridge? If you're there manning the machine, operating it, you could have worked somewhere else. As a teacher, or as a police officer somewhere else, right? So that's your opportunity cost. If they don't use the money to build the bridge, they could use the money to build a roller coaster in Pembroke. How about that? Would you like to see a roller coaster here?
What, just one roller coaster?
I don't.
I'm asking you, would
don't-
you?
A whole
I
park?
don't live here, so I don't.
You want a park?
Yeah, I want just one.
Okay, a theme park, how's that? It's the same thing. You could call it a park, whatever you want. A theme park.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, that would be nice, let's talk about it. How much are you willing to pay? Who say that would be nice? How much are you willing to pay? Yes, to enter the park, the theme park, excuse me, oops. The roller coaster,
A 50.
huh?
50.
50, 50, okay, very decent. Nice park, I mean, not just one roller coaster, but they have like, maybe like about 5, including the Batman one that you could do backward, backflip. Well, I know all about roller coasters, I have a book about it, yes. I used to hit all of them when I was younger, of course. Can't do it now, so I have to go to chiropractor after that. Shouldn't tell you so much about that, yes, yeah, it's, never mind. Okay, roller coaster in Pembroke. So how much are you willing to pay? Now, people who have kids, like married people, grandpa, grandma, they're willing to pay much more. If you just kind of like, yeah, what the heck is roller coaster? What is that, then you might say 25 cents. So remember I told you the other day, like if I set up a booth, and say that you're walking and I'm gonna ask you how much are you willing to pay for the class, everybody has a different price, what we call reservation price. So this is the same thing, reservation price. How much are you willing to pay? So let's just say I do a survey, I pass a sheet of paper and say, Morgan, how much are you willing to pay? You might say, okay, I put down $20. And Tyler, you might say $5. And Brett, you might say 15. Okay. You guys are very cheap. Well, I gave you the number, I'm sorry, yeah. It's come to Syria. How much would you pay?
For what, this class? What'd you say?
Roller
The bar.
coaster, yeah.
Oh,
Real life.
25.
25, very good. Lucky, how much are you willing to pay?
10, I'm broke.
Good reason, good excuse. But someday you will be rich, and then what would you say then? Okay, so everybody has a price, right? So a public good is funded like that. The benefit will be you add up everybody's prices. So at the end of the day, when you get to Jackie, how much would you say, Jackie?
12.
12? Whoa, I like that, 12, yes. So 12 is like a magic number. Okay, 12. So we add up all the numbers together and then we come up to be like, say 500. Then we present it to the council, town council. They say, you're crazy, $500 to find a roller coaster? I say, well, you have not asked enough people. Go around, everybody, all the household in Pembroke, ask everybody. And then they ask everybody, come back to the number, they say, 5 million. I say, oh yeah, now we're talking. Okay, so let's build the park. So that would be the benefit. What about the cost? So again, you have to weigh the pros and cons or cost and benefit. The benefit of the public good is the sum, keyword, sum of all the reservation prices of all the people who want the good. How much would you pay, Mr. Dalton?
Well, for the roller coaster?
Yeah, in Pembroke.
Just
Oh, it
for
shouldn't take so long, come on.
20?
20? Okay.
Yeah, it gotta look nice.
Put you on the committee. Not everyone benefits equally from a public good or service. And that shows on your price, If you say 5 cents, then we know, you don't really care for roller coaster. You just want to give me a number. Right? So not everybody benefit equally. Everybody has different reservation price for what you're willing to pay for a park. If you go jogging a lot in the park, then you might be willing to pay more. But if you have no need, you're good with doing all the exercise in the gym, or in your dormitory room, then okay, You don't expect to pay that much for entering a park. The most equitable way to pay for the public good or service is to tax people. How do you tax people? According to what they're willing to pay. Wow. So like just now, I say, let's just say that sheet of paper passed back to me. I look at it and say, okay, Tyra, you're willing to pay $20. Right? Did you say 20? Or did I revise a number? So that's how much I would charge you. So hard to implement because of lack of information. I don't have that information. And even if I go around collect that information, you could lie about it. You don't have to be truthful. There is an incentive to lie about willingness in order to avoid paying. Yeah, that's a human nature. So let's look at example of two guys, Prentice and Wilson. So they are going to, this is a decision, and you have a homework assignment due, by the way. I think it's is that Monday?
Yeah, Monday. I looked at the email.
I think I changed it to
Okay.
Wednesday. Okay, on the same day that you have your, okay, if you hand it in on Monday, I'll give extra bonus point, 1 point. If you hand in on Monday, because by the end of today's class, you should be able to do it. But if you want to wait till Wednesday, which is the day that we do our last test, one chapter only, which is on this chapter, you could also. Maybe hand in on Monday. Did you get it, Jamaica? 1 extra bonus point. So go for it. Okay, so Prentice and Wilson, they want to buy a water filter. Okay, they live on adjacent property on Cayuga Lake. And that's somewhere in Minnesota, I think, or Wisconsin, I can't remember where. There was a problem, big problem, pollution. What's the pollution? Zebra mussels require each one to add chlorine to their water intake. So this is what happened. I went online a few years ago to try to find that Cayuga Lake and see what was the problem. That's the problem. Can you see it? Environmental damage. Look at this. This is all saturated with these zebra mussels, and look at the beach. It's awful. Anyway, so environmental pollution, real life case here. Okay, so because of that, they have to add chlorine to their water intake. So therefore, they are trying to make a decision. This is like your homework assignment. Okay, so I'm explaining now. So do you want to buy a water filter? They can buy and share a filtration system for $1,000. Sharing. Hey, how about that? Share. Wilson earns twice as much as Prentice. So we're going to get your calculator out. We're going to work on something. Okay, so I'm going to ask you for an answer. So we got Wilson and Prentice, and Wilson earns twice as much. He's richer. Prentice is poorer. So Wilson is willing to pay $800 for it. Everybody got your calculator, and Prentice is willing to pay only $400, half of it. So then we say, what is the benefits here? The benefits is to add up what you're willing to pay. 800 plus 400 is 1,200. Got it? So this is like your homework problem. I'm explaining it now. I expect you to do it yourself. Do not try to get help somewhere else. Do it yourself. I'm explaining it. The benefit is 1,200 and the cost is 1,000. How do we get the cost? Because we gave you the cost, 1,000. So because the benefit is higher than the cost, so therefore we say that it will probably go through. Okay? And that's what you would do on your homework problem. You have to figure out ways to benefit. So the benefit of funding a public good, which is filtration system here, is the, what are you doing? Taking my picture? Okay, so benefit is greater than cost, 1,200 is greater than, I appreciate if you put it away, yeah. I really appreciate it, yeah, please. Everybody do. Everybody else do. Thank you. So, what is the outcome? So we say that because benefit is higher than the cost, yes, so they will go for it, meaning that they will share the filtration system. So there's a problem though. What's the problem? We say, well, yes, we encourage sharing. Sharing is good, it is efficient in this case, right? Instead of him paying, Wilson paying 800 himself, somebody else share with me. It's same thing with Prentice. So sharing is efficient, but there are some hindrances or barriers to sharing. The cost, what are some of them? Number one, the cost of negotiation. You may have to hire a lawyer to go talk to Wilson and say, how about it? Or you may go talk to him himself, and then he may not be there. You might have to try weeks before you get to him, you know? So that's our so-called cost of negotiation. It could include opportunity cost of looking for this guy, your neighbor. Because, you know, I mean, this rich people, well, if they live adjacent to the lake, houses tend to be big, you know, it's not easy to find people. Free riding problem, yes, we talk about it. And reluctant to share information. The free riding problem might be, well, you try to get out of it for free. You say, oh yeah, you installed it. You know, I don't want to pay for it, that's free riding. You won't come out and say that. You might lie and cheat on your IRS tax form and say, I'm really not that rich, you know. Look, here's my IRS number and I'm not willing to pay that much. Okay, so now we're going to talk about three types of tax coming up very quickly. Will government buy the water filter if there's an equal tax rule? Assuming that there is a non-discrimination tax rule, a majority of the citizens must approve the provision of the public good. That's usually is the case. You go for a vote, and then if you more than majority, then it goes for, it passes it. If not, then no. So remember that for your homework problem. We look for majority. The outcome, a head tax will collect $500 each from Prentice and Wilson. So I'm going to write this down, so please take note. Three types of tax. So we're getting ready to do some calculation. The first one is known as head tax, which is also known as regressive tax. I'll explain this. This is a G, okay? And then there's three more. Okay, so a head tax collect $500 from each, and Prentice has $400 reservation price, so he will vote against it. He can't afford it. $500, but his reservation price is only $400. But what about the other guy, Wilson? He's okay because his reservation price is $800, and the tax is $500. So he's willing to pay for it. But so because it's one vote for yes, one vote for no, that's not majority. Majority has to be more than 50%. So therefore we say, whoops, didn't pass. So the thing that we're talking about here is a head tax. It's not a good tax system because it rule out many worthwhile projects. So a head tax is also a tax that collects the same amount. Well, it's also a regressive tax, excuse me. A tax under which proportion of income paid in taxes decline as income increases. So in other words, definition is as income increases, percentage of tax paid comes down. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Like if you're paying $100 tax, and if your income is 100, that's 100% tax. But if your income is 10,000, that $10 is less. But if your income is 1 million, you're only paying like $10. So that's a very, very, very small percentage. So that's what I mean. As your income goes up, from 100 to 10,000 to 1 million to 1 billion, 1 trillion, like Donald Trump, percentage of tax paid actually comes down. That's called regressive tax. So we say that regressive tax is not so efficient. Will the government buy the filter if there's a proportional tax on income? So the next one is proportional tax. Get your calculator out. I'm getting ready to ask you to do something. Proportional tax is as income goes up, percentage of tax paid is the same. Okay, that's the definition. A tax under which all taxpayers pay the same proportion of the income in taxes. So everybody paid 20%, regardless of what your income is. So let's work on this example and get your calculator out. If Wilson would pay 667, Prentice would pay 333, both amounts are below their reservation price. So remember earlier, Wilson's reservation price was 800, And Prentice reservation price was 400. I would appreciate if you put away your cell phone. Thank you very much. Month amounts, okay, they would approve the filtration system. What do we mean by that? Your economic surplus will increase because we take 800, what Wilson is willing to pay minus that, you get 133. Prentice is willing to pay 400 minus 333 sixes. So you add it up, you have an increase of $200. So please, everybody, if you get your calculator out and tell me what is this percentage at Wilson pay? What is this percentage at Prentice pay? Does everybody know how to do percentage? 667 divided by 800 times 100. This one is 333 divided by 400 times 100. So what do you have?
83%.
Thank you. For who? Wilson? And what about Prentice? Anybody? Madison, do you have it? Okay, go ahead and punch in the number. Tell me what you got. Tyra, you got it? Who has it? Patrice? I thought y'all are working on it. This will be who have. Morgan, do you have it?
I think so.
Yeah, tell me the number.
41%?
What's the percentage?
41?
No.
See, I didn't think so.
So this one, you take 333 divided by 400. Do it again. Times 100. Yeah. It's the same.
83%.
83%. Okay. So that's proportional tax. Everybody pay the same percentage. So if you do that, you realize that this guy is 667. This guy is 333. And then you look at your reservation price, take the difference. So this 2 is the additional economic surplus there. Okay, last one is progressive tax. How many of you pay income tax here? Like you file your own income tax? No. You're working part-time, right? You should be filing. Progressive tax is as your income goes up, your percentage of tax pay goes up as well. Now this is United States IRS tax system. The higher your income, the higher the tax percentage that you pay. So for example, people like Donald Trump, Bill Gates, the highest one I think right now is 39.9999%, or almost 40%. That's the highest one. That's probably what they pay. I don't pay as much, According to your income, I think I might pay, I don't know, maybe about 15%. So if your income is lower, you might pay 5%. So that's according to the amount of income you earn, it goes up. And that's considered fair in a lot of industrialized countries. Okay, so next, again, private good. How do you sum up private good? We have seen that from earlier chapter. You sum it up by horizontally, okay? But given the quantity, given the quality, how much are you willing to pay? Now for public good, it's the other way, okay? Because public good is the same amount. If you like to fund for a roller coaster or a park, it's the same 200 acres. So you have the same quantity and quality, but how much are you willing to pay is different. So again, this is how you do the private good. We've done this before. Your demand curve, you sum it up horizontally. So we say, given the price, how much are you willing to pay? But with the public good, it's the other way. We say, given the quantity, how much are you willing to pay? So you sum it up vertically in the case of public good. So for example, if you look at this person, okay, given that it's all 24, this person is willing to pay nothing. Or like the roller coaster price earlier, and this person is willing to pay 8. So you sum it up like that, you have a kink, okay, demand curve. So again, you have the 8 here, 24 here. So everything that's beyond that, from 24 to 36, it's for this guy, after the king. But anything that's before that is the combination of these two guys. So that's how they work it out. Now, I want you to pay attention that the intercept term here for this person is 18. Intercept term for this person is 24. 24 plus 18 is 42. Okay, so that's how you do it. And be sure you look at that example in your book. because, these, calculation, but I'm not gonna go over it. So be sure you look it up, and, yeah, that's my cue, that will stop right here. So have a good weekend, and please, a couple of you need to see me about the test. And one other things, again, if you hand in your homework on Monday, you get one extra bonus point. Otherwise, when they say, I have not finished this yet, I will finish this on Monday, but that should give you enough to work on your homework problem. You have a question?
What time that two do me?
2:30? 2:30.
2:30.